Good evening, good morning, everyone. My name is Saada Hassan. I am a Kenyan journalist working with Standard Media Group. I focused mostly on health and science issues, and I narrowed down to women, children, and also men. So with this particular story, I decided to focus on maternal mortality, and I called this project The Value of Life when we talk about maternal mortality in Kenya. So I don't know if you can see the top part. There's this quote that I used. A child enters your home and for the next 20 years makes so much noise you can hardly stand it. The child departs, leaving the house so silently you think you're going mad. And this quote is by John Andrew Holmes. So the meaning of this quote to me generally is when a family gets a child, they have a lot of issues coming, raising the child becomes stubborn, grows up, becomes independent, and the family or the parents find it so hard to let this child grow and enjoy their own life. But at some point when the child departs, then they now feel the loneliness that comes with it. But then you see this particular joy and struggle does not happen to every woman, because at times when maternal mortality happens, this joy is robbed from these families. So this is my first story. And then I take you to the life board. This is where all the action is. So we start here. So globally, around 140 million babies are born every year, or about 4 births per every second. Approximately 810 women die from preventable causes related to pregnancy and childbirth. Due to many factors, each country has unique life expectancy ratio. So from the first storyboard, I showed you that there's value of life, and every family values their child when they're, once they get a child and they enjoy the moment. But when they grow up, then they don't understand why this child is growing up too fast. But then some families don't get to experience that. So each country has its own life expectancy ratio at birth. Some countries with the big, the blue square, the expectancy is high, like Sweden. When we come to our own country here, Kenya, the life expectancy is 66. So each family hopes to, spread the generation to, get more children, and the generation keeps on growing. For a country like Vietnam, it's 73. If you look at Korea, it's 72. But for like this, Brunei, Darussalam is 74. There's some countries with very low life expectancy ratio, like Botswana, 62. Then the next board will tell you overall life expectancy versus the female life expectancy, because when you're talking about maternal mortality, then we're talking about women, children. So when we compare the life expectancy of each country, then it tells you more about this story, that there's in some countries, yes, you might have a high life expectancy, but that for women specifically is either low or high. So like for Sudan, when we point at it, it gives us 69, the overall life expectancy, but for females alone is 67. When we look at DRC, I was not able to get the life expectancy of the general life expectancy, but here in Kenya, the life expectancy of female is 69, while the general life expectancy is 66, which means our life value, or the resources that have been put to ensure that women get the necessary resources or equipments is still in place, and it is improving the life expectancy of women. Ethiopia is the same as Congo, Central African Republic. The life expectancy of women is 56. And the final one here, Cameroon, at birth is 62, while for females is 61. The next slide is talks about my country, Kenya. And over the decade, the maternal mortality rate in Kenya has reduced from 488 to 362 deaths per every 100,000 live births, while the antenatal coverage has improved improved from 92% to 96%. Kenya child mortality rate has also declined by over 20% since 2008, and the total fertility rate to less than 4, which means more women are now using voluntary family planning with contraception. If you hover around this graph, it will show you that the maternal mortality cases has been reducing over the years. So this is data from 2000 up to 2017. And in 2017, at least 342 women died compared to 2016, where it was 346, and so on and so forth. Down here, it shows you the general trend, the annual percentage change. So in 2001, it was 0.85. The highest was in 2010, whereby the maternal mortality percentage annual change was about negative 8.4. So this period from 2007 to 2010, this we see the values are changing from middle to low and then high. So 2007, we can attribute it to the post-election violence. And, in 2008, we were not able to get the correct figures. In 2009, and maybe in 2010, we can say the numbers were high because during this period, we were able to get the report from the Kenya Human Rights Commission of all the atrocities that were done during the 2007 post-election violence. So maybe that is when we were able to get enough data. So I looked at 4 key counties which have been recording a high number of maternal mortality cases in Kenya. The big challenge with this is that as a country, we do not have proper data collection methods, and it's not easy to get proper data from each county. But I worked with one organization and they gave me data for January 2019 up to 2020. And from this data, Mombasa County has a higher number of maternal deaths, which is 79, compared maybe to a county like Kericho, which had 4 deaths only. And Nandi had 14, while Kwale had 9. The final part is I want to show you that several factors contribute to maternal mortality, key being lack of resources, personnel, and environment. And at this day and age in my country, there's still women who give birth at home without assistance of a birth attendant. This is risky and it threatens their health as well as that of their baby. When you look at this graph, it shows you a very significant value, because if you look at Nairobi County alone, about 584,000 women give birth at a health facility. We don't have any data of women who are giving birth from home. When you look at Kiambu County, we have 277 giving birth at a health facility, but we have this number, 4,837, who still give birth at home. Other counties that have a higher number include Bungoma, where women still give birth at home, if you compare also to the health facility. If you look at a county like Trans Nzoia, we still have about 26,000 giving birth at home and 52 at a health facility. County which are in the farthest, north, like Turkana, the values are still there. And this one can be attributed to the nature of these people. They are pastoralists, they keep on moving. And maybe Lamu and, Lamu and Samburu, these are communities that are also affected by culture, whereby women are not supposed to be going to a facility. And finally, where I'm concluding is that it is possible to end maternal mortality together. Thank you. But before I finish, I think it's important that I show you, these are my sheets. And then all of these sheets, I combined them to this one dashboard where it will be easy for one to just go through the visualizations at once. And this dashboard, it was just to put the introduction. Thank you.
Great, thank you very much, Saada. Really interesting, and it's nice to hear that, like, another perspective that complements what Nancy had presented too. I think